As we reflect on the lives of the young people we are laying to rest today, young people whose lives were full of potential and courage, we must also lift our eyes beyond our borders and draw strength from examples of youth who are living proof that another future is possible. One such example is the fearless and principled revolutionary, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, who took power not out of greed, but out of an urgent need to liberate his people from the clutches of neocolonialism and foreign military domination. Traore is a living symbol of the return of revolutionary leadership in Africa. He is a young man who, like Thomas Sankara before him, has rejected Western puppet regime, expelled French troops from Burkina Faso soil, and reclaimed the dignity of his people. At only 36 years old, Traore has shown more courage and conviction than many leaders twice his age. He has put his life on the line to defend his nation's sovereignty and natural resources. He has stood firm in the face of threats from imperialist forces, and he has reminded the world that Africa is not for sale. We invoke his name here today because he represents the future our young people could have. Because when we speak of the youth who died in this tragedy, we must also speak of the youth who are still standing, still fighting, and still changing the world. Captain Traore is one of them. We say to our young people, do not be discouraged by this dark moment. Be inspired by it. Take the spirit of those we bury today and let it fuel your fire. Let it remind you that leadership does not come with age. It comes with clarity of purpose, with love for the people, and with a willingness to confront injustice wherever it shows itself. The EFF calls on the youth of South Africa and the continent to follow in the footsteps of young revolutionaries like Traore by rising, organizing, and building a future where Africa is free from exploitation, free from foreign control, and free from leaders who serve only themselves. As we mourn the lives of these young people, we are reminded of a painful truth in this country: to be young and black is to suffer. Our young people die not only on buses, in car crashes, but they die in silence every day. They die from hunger, from depression, from hopelessness, and from a system that has abandoned them. Today, 45.1% of South Africa's youth are unemployed. Almost 1 in every 2 young people is without work. They wake up every morning with no salary, no opportunity, and no dignity. They stand on the street corners with degrees and diplomas, while others are denied even the chance to study because this government has still failed to deliver free, quality, decolonized education, and a promise made on stages and forgotten in boardrooms. Meanwhile, we live in a country where prisoners receive 3 meals a day, have access to free uniform, and are offered education and rehabilitation programs, while young people go to bed on empty stomachs, wear torn clothes, and are forced to drop out of school because they cannot afford registration fees. We do not say this to dehumanize prisoners, many of whom are victims of the very same system. But we must ask, how can a government feed and clothe those it has arrested, but refuse to feed and educate those it claims to represent? It is a contradiction that speaks to the core of this regime's failure. It invests more in prison maintenance than it does in human development. It builds more jails than schools. It responds to poverty not with opportunity, but with punishment. That is why the EFF calls for the introduction of a permanent unemployment grant in South Africa, a basic income that restores some measures of dignity to the millions who are trapped outside of the economy through no fault of their own. This country can afford it. There is no shortage of money, only shortage of political will. We have 700 million for useless national dialogue, but when it comes to feeding the children of the poor, suddenly the budget is under pressure. 700 million of ukukhuluma, asikhulume, vulamulom, 700 million is available for such nonsensical programs, yet our people are unemployed. We say to this government, the youth are watching. They will not forget your indifference. The EFF will continue to fight inside Parliament and in streets until every young person has access to free education, decent work, and a basic income that affirms their humanity. Let us not forget why these young people we are burying today were traveling. They were not on a holiday. They were not returning from a party or a weekend away. They were returning from the EFF Youth Day rally. They were returning from a space that does not just speak about the youth, but is built by the youth. A space where they were affirmed, where they were reminded of their power, and where they declared with one voice that they are the generation that will bring economic freedom in our lifetime. This is what makes their death even more devastating. They died in the middle of political commitment. They died as participants in the revolutionary project of our time. I want all of us to understand what that means. It means they were already leaders. They had already made the decision to be part of the generation that refuses to accept crumbs, the generation that demands land, the generation that confronts corruption, that loves continent, that embraces decolonization. The EFF is the only political home in this country that has refused to treat young people as ornaments. We do not just call the youth the future, we also say they are the present. We do not make them sing songs in corners while elders speak. No, we elect them. We send them to Parliament. We put them in front of microphones, in front of enemies, and in front of history. Today, in the Parliament of South Africa, young leaders from the EFF benches stand boldly and speak truth to power. They interrogate ministers, they expose looters, they write legislation, and they make sure that the voice of the youth is not just heard, but is impossible to ignore. These are young people who came through the EFF Student Command, who organized campuses when the media called them reckless, who let FISMAs fall and faced arrest, exclusion, and brutality, and still stood up. Now they sit in legislatures as fighters for change. Let this be a message to the youth gathered here and to those listening across the country. The time to doubt yourself is over. You are the ones you have been waiting for. You are the torchbearers of Onkgopotse Tiro, of Winnie Mandela, of Peter Mokaba. You are children of Frantz Fanon and Steve Biko. You are a generation that will return Africa to ourselves. We know that many of you are tired for looking for jobs that do not exist, tired of begging for NSFAS that never comes, tired of voting and seeing nothing changes, tired of funerals and never seeing justice. We know that. But I say to you today, do not let your pain turn into silence. Let your pain turn into purpose. Let it push you. Let it drive you. Let it radicalize you. Let it draw you closer to the movement that has never betrayed you, the EFF. Let this funeral not be the end. Let it be the beginning of our refusal to accept a country where the youth are treated as waste. Let us organize. Let us recruit. Let us study. Let us fight. Let us build South Africa where every child, no matter how poor, can live, dream, and become. To the families of the deceased, we say this: you are not alone. Your loss is our loss. Your tears are our tears. Your children are not forgotten. The EFF will walk with you, will support you, and will continue to fight in their name. I want to say to you, be proud parents that your children did not die from Nyaope. Your children did not die drowning in drugs and alcohol. Your children died in the battlefield. Your children are soldiers. Your children are martyrs, and the names of your children will always be called when the names of martyrs are called. Be proud that your children have inspired many generations to come. To all ground forces of the EFF, this is an opportunity to pick up the spear and continue the fight to return the land to the rightful owners. We must never be scared. This land belongs to us. This land belongs to our grandmothers. This land belongs to our grandfathers. No one came through a ship carrying a land. They found it here. They will leave it here. We have no any other home except South Africa. This is our home. Comrades, we must continue to be disciplined and die in the revolution. Because to die in a revolution must be an honor. And as a result, we are going to honor all of these 10 fallen heroes, each one of them with a house, a proper house that has got all the facilities. And if there is no water in those yards, we'll make sure we put boreholes so that we restore the dignity of those families. We build those houses, we put those boreholes because we want to build a permanent relationship with these families. We don't want to forget you. Do not forget us. Thank you very much. Amandla! Amandla! Viva EFF! Viva!